Hello, we're back from Norway. We're back from Denmark and we're in Norway, and we're going for an ultrasound today because I'm going to get a growth ultrasound on the baby just because Emmeline was really small. And so they just want to see, you know, how this baby's growing. So I don't really care to go for ultrasounds. They just make me nervous. I think it's gonna be bad news. So hopefully everything will be all right and the baby will be good size. That's how it's gonna be. Okay. I always think I'm going into the basement. Right, ultrasound's over. The baby looks fantastic. He's in the 50th percent, so he's absolutely average. But there wasn't the best news because the baby might have a cord. He has like high blood pressure, or it's like high blood pressure maybe in the cord. They're not sure. It's either at the very top of average or a little bit over. But they said it doesn't make any sense because the baby is like perfect size. He's in the 50th percent, and they said all the blood flow to the placenta is correct. So it's just the cord, and I don't know, I'm trying not to be annoyed or worried or upset about it. I have to go back in 2 more weeks, but I'm a little bit disheartened because I was really hoping that I wouldn't have to do this like with Emmeline. I wouldn't have any issues, it would just be fine. So hopefully when we go back in 2 weeks everything will be fine, but because I'm a pessimist, I don't believe that it will be. I don't know, we'll have to see. I have to try not to be worried about it right now because there's nothing that I can do except take care of myself and just do kit counts with the baby at this point. So yeah, that's that. That's news. But on the bright side, the baby is looking fantastic, and his organ, everything looks good with the organs. Everything looks good with him and his size, and he's moving and all that. So yeah, we just have to hope that maybe that's normal for me, that they'd be at the top range. I don't remember with Emmeline because they don't do the cord. They do each vessel of the cord, all 3 vessels, and check those. So I guess we'll have to see. I don't know. So we're going to a cafe now because I'm hungry. And it's raining out, look. Welcome spring! Alright, let's go. Okay. With the door shut on it, yeah.
Det är det. There's really buddies.
Oh yeah, I maybe want some real food, I don't know. Oof. Cakes look fantastic too.
Yeah.
I'll have to come back and get a cupcake because I love cupcakes.
You should come meet Michelle here.
It'll be fun.
Om jag gör det med salater då?
Gott.
Tusen tack. Where do you want to sit? Over here.
Here.
Yeah.
Have to
Okay. Look at that. Delicious. And some bread. This is hilarious. I feel like I'm going into a warehouse. Look. We're going to this used store and I feel like I'm going into like this creepy, rundown, abandoned building.
bike one? 450?
I do need a bike.
600?
I do need a bike.
That's a Merida.
Meridia. Oh, that's nice. I do need a bike though.
That's a guy.
That's a men's bike, but the blue one is a woman's.
450 for that one.
It's not bad. Look, we need hagemöbler.
Yeah, but not those.
Goodness, hon. You don't expect that.
Waffles are over there.
Oh my goodness.
Here's the Easter table.
There's not much left on it at this point. Look. Hi everyone! So I know this is a little bit different kind of pregnancy Wednesday vlog because I am exhausted. It's Friday night and I'm going to post this tonight. I did not post it on Wednesday. We have been extremely busy this week with a couple of different things. I'm not going to get into it because it's a surprise and you'll find out later. But we've been really busy with a bunch of stuff. We're kind of planning Emmeline's birthday party at a friend's house. So we've been trying to deal with that because we're doing it this Sunday. So not tomorrow, but the next day. And we're trying to get organized. We're a little bit last minute, and we had this growth scan on Wednesday. So I filmed a little bit of the day, which I was gonna post on the week in review, but I decided I'm gonna actually post that tomorrow or the next day, and it's going to be the rest of the Denmark trip, because I didn't show any of that because it was, I mean, the weekend is a different vlog. Things have been really difficult for me to be vlogging, keeping up on that, but I will. But I'm not going to talk about that right now because this is my Pregnancy Wednesday vlog filmed on a Friday. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about my growth scan. I'm actually holding the camera, so if it's wobbly, I apologize. Let me give a little background as to why I had a growth scan in the first place. I went for a private 12-week ultrasound and everything was going extremely well. Everything looks great. That was the ultrasound I was most nervous about because I was expecting it to be nothing there when they, you know, put the ultrasound on me, but there was. And then the 20-week ultrasound, everything looked fine there as well. There was nothing wrong, she said everything looks great. The only reason that I was having a growth scan at this point was because Emmeline was so little, and they just thought, well, maybe it's better if we do know if this baby is going to be really small, or maybe you'd like to have a growth scan, you know, just because. So they said, would you like to, like, we'd recommend one, would you like to have one? And Alvin and I thought, okay, why not? Because then we thought, okay, this baby will probably be small, and then it will just be more proof that Emmeline was genetically small, and it'll be okay. And then if we do have a third baby, there won't be any issue, like, in terms of size. If the baby is small, there won't be as many, you know, as many concerns about that. So we thought, okay, we'll do it, why not? You know, just, let's do it. So we go on, it was Thursday that went through the growth scan. That's why this vlog is late, because I wanted to do it for Wednesday. Go to the hospital, because here you have to go to a hospital to get, you know, ultrasound scan. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but you have to go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital and I had an actual, not an ultrasound technician, but I had an actual doctor, like a fetal medicine consultant, to do the ultrasound. That's just how they do it here. So he did the ultrasound, he measured the leg, the head, and the abdomen, and obviously they look, as they're doing the ultrasound, they look at everything. That's not the reason we were there, but they were looking at all the organs and placenta, and they measured the fluid, how much fluid's around the baby. And the doctor thought it was really funny because he's like, this baby is dead on. It is exactly measuring this many weeks, and is hilarious because the weight, the head circumference, the abdomen circumference, and the femur length were all the same on the 50th, like dead smack on the 50th percent. And he thought it was so funny. He's like, this baby is like, is exact. He's on the 50th percent. And they measured the fluid, and the fluid looked good. So of course the other thing that they check, because it's a growth scan, is the umbilical cord. So they check the blood flow in and out of that, and they check the blood flow also to the placenta from my body. So they checked those things, and he's like, okay, everything looks great. I'm gonna go plug in the values. So, or put it in the system. And then it gives you the chart, and they can see where it is on the chart. So he was doing it, and he looked back at me, and he's like, actually, I need to, can I just do it again to check something? So I said, all right. So he came back up, and he did the ultrasound again, but this time it was just checking the umbilical cord. And then he was like, okay, I need to go get another doctor because this doesn't make sense. So let me just go check with them, and then I'll be right back. So then he got the head doctor, which is his boss, to come in. She did the scan as well, and she's like, all right, well, they ended up getting two values that were within the normal range. One was at 75 and one was 90 or something. But all the other times that they checked the Doppler, the cord had high resistance, above the 95th percent. So basically what they said to me is having a higher resistance in the umbilical cord flow, blood flow, it basically means that not enough nutrients and oxygen is getting to the baby. But which is the reason they said it doesn't make any sense, is because this baby is in the 50th percent. He's obviously getting what he needs because he is in the 50th percent and he's growing. So that's why the first ultrasound, or the first consultant was like, doesn't make sense. The second consultant, she says, I'm not really concerned at this point because the baby is fine. So it doesn't make any sense. If it is a problem, like a placental failure, the placenta is starting to fail, it's happening just now, like within the past couple of days that this is happening. So, I don't know. shocked to find this out because everything went well with Emmeline, but again we had the scare because she was so small and they made us really nervous about it, and just like the end of the world, they made us seem like, oh, she's gonna die, you can't have a natural birth, oh, this and that. She ended up being fine, and she didn't have any problems with her Dopplers at all. Well, with this baby, it's kind of like the opposite. He is the correct size, but his umbilical cord Doppler says that he's not getting, he's not getting as much as he needs or as much as he should be getting. But he's perfect size, so it doesn't make sense. So, I have to go back in 2 weeks for another growth scan because they want to check up on it, obviously. And there's 3 things that could happen. It could be, 1, that it's better, so the resistance has decreased and the baby's getting more nutrients, which would be ideal. I'm really hoping that that's what it is, that it's just that things just haven't changed yet. I don't know. It could be that it's the same, that the baby's growing and the resistance is still high, and maybe that's just normal for this pregnancy, that it's always been high and the baby, it's fine for the baby, it's enough for the baby. And then the third outcome is that it's worse, the baby's smaller, the amount of fluid is less, and that obviously the resistance is higher. So there's 3 different things that could happen. Obviously there's a 4th outcome as well, but I think we all know what that is, and that's something I don't even want to talk about. In terms of placental failure, if the placenta fails right now, you know, there's nothing that we can do, I guess, at that point. So that's a 4th outcome, but hopefully that's not going to be the case. I'm just going to leave that as not even an outcome, because that's a very pessimistic view, and we don't want to be pessimistic, we want to be optimistic. So basically, I need to try to get the baby to turn positions if I can. So he's head up or across. So he's either sitting like this or he's going like this. With his head, I'll show you my stomach. So his head's either here and his butt's here and his legs are hanging down, or his head's here and his butt's here and his feet are down there. So they're like, try and see if you can get him to turn by sitting in certain positions, which I haven't done, I should be doing. So I need to get doing that. See if I can encourage him to turn around so he's head down. See if that makes a difference. The other thing I need to do is do kick counts twice a day. And obviously if there's any change at all in movement, I need to go directly into the hospital. So yeah, that's the results of the growth scan. I'm cried, of course, because I didn't want to go to the growth scan to begin with. I hate going to them. I hate going to ultrasounds because I always expect bad news. But I was really kind of optimistic this time because I am bigger physically than when I was with Emmeline. And I just felt like, you know, this baby is bigger. I can feel bigger movements. I am bigger. And I just thought that, you know, we'd go and they'd say everything was fine. I really did, actually, deep down. So when they said there's a problem, or a potential problem, I was obviously really upset by that. So hopefully we're going to be positive. I've been keeping myself extremely busy for the rest of the week because I don't want to think about it. I'm going to try and do that for all of next week, and hopefully everything's fine, and hopefully we go next week and everything's normal. And then we have to, obviously, no matter what happens or the outcome is, we'll have to go back again, because they said basically no matter what the outcome is, you'll have to come in bi-weekly at this point, just because there was a, you know, just because of the way that the Doppler was. I don't know. So that's that. I'm gonna go. I have nothing else to say about it other than it is a bit disheartening. It's not the worst news, so I'm not that, like, it's not the worst news that you can get, but it is disheartening when you get bad news. In terms of me, I don't have high blood pressure. Everything looks fine. I did notice, however, that my blood pressure was much higher than it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, so that was shocking for me, because usually I have low blood pressure, but this time it was pretty normal. But the blood pressure that you actually control, which, please forgive me, I don't remember what it's called, it was off, it was like so high, and they're like, you must be really nervous, and I'm like, yes, I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. So anyway, that's my pregnancy Wednesday update, being done on a Friday. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a really good day, and I will keep you informed on what's going on with that. So thanks so much, and I will see you later. Bye. The things I wanted to mention that I forgot. The reason that I think I'm more upset about the resistance, I mean, obviously I'm upset about it, but one of the things that really bothers me is because if you look online, which you should never do, so many people this happens to, they have to end up being induced really early. I don't want to be induced. Everyone knows I want a natural birth, so induction is just not something that I want. Obviously C-section is not something that I want, and I'm worried if I were to have to be induced, because I did have Emmeline so quickly. I had Emmeline in like less than 2 hours, so I'm worried that if I were to be induced, it would just be really physically difficult or demanding on the body. I'm worried about hemorrhaging and problems that could happen because I did have a baby so quickly before. However, it might be different if I did have to get induced and it was too early for the baby to come out. Maybe it would be different. I'm not sure. I don't know. So it just makes me nervous. Obviously, at the end of the day, I'm going to do whatever is the safest for me and for the baby, obviously. But still, that is something that worries me. Obviously, having a baby before it's full term is worrying, but a lot of babies are fine. So I don't know, just things that you worry about.